This scene here is located at Beale Air Force Base in one of the old hangars from the Korean War era. There's a U-2 in here that they're filming. This is when the pilots that were recruited to fly the plane are being introduced to it for the first time.
10,000 pounds of thrust, maximum speed of 430 miles an hour. May not be quick, but at your cruising altitude of 70,000 feet, nothing will come close to you.
We were so happy to have the full cooperation of the DoD, and it allowed us to recreate what went on in the 50s and 60s with these U-2 planes flying, and really flying. I wasn't standing on a soundstage. I was actually standing at Beale Air Force Base watching a U-2 plane take off and realizing they put young men in these planes and sent them to foreign countries to surveil for the United States government.
Beale Air Force Base is the home of the U-2 spy plane, also known as the Dragon Lady. This is an actual U-2 plane. It was built in 1980. We can tell that by the tail number in the back. It says AF-80, and that gives us the year that it was actually built. It is being used as a stand-in or a static display for the U-2 that we will be featuring in this film.
This is all active, and
this is a working U-2.
It's working U-2.
Yeah.
And these U-2s are taking off and landing from this pace all the time.
The U-2 plane is still used in theater or in combat. They still fly missions every day. In what we're doing, as you know, that we've been in combat situations for the last 10 years now, and the U-2 is very much a part of that.
Should it become necessary to abandon the aircraft over Soviet territory, then there's a 2.5-pound explosive charge contained within the fuselage.
We wanted to be part of this film because the Air Force core values are service before self, excellence in all we do, and integrity first. And this film gave us a perfect opportunity to exemplify those core values.
Francis Gary Powers was really in awe of this new bird that he was going to fly, this jet glider. These were guys who just loved to be up in the air, whereas it might freak out anybody else that they were going to fly at 70,000 feet. This really got their blood just pumping, that they were gonna not only break the altitude record, they were gonna do it for hours, every day. And they were gonna do it as a top secret mission.
We need a picture without
Let's get a picture of this.
Yeah.
I had the great opportunity to communicate with Francis Gary Powers, Jr. And he met us up at Beale Air Force Base. He plays one of the CIA agents, which I think is a wonderful homage to the man that made this story possible.
I'm in costume today. I am a CIA operative or a CIA contractor that is going to be in some of the scenes. And I'm deeply honored and very humbled to have been invited not only to be a consultant on this project, but also to be an extra in the film. It's going to be a great memory, and I'll be able to tell my grandkids about this and show them that, hey, there's your grandfather.
I knew, okay, I've got to get out, I've got the ejection seat, and I got to destroy the airplane, so I reached up and I put my hand on the switches, and I said, no, I better wait and see how I'm going to get out before I do this. Because I didn't want to actuate that thing and find out I couldn't get out, and then be blown up with the thing. And then I got to trying to get in position to bail out of the airplane, and I couldn't get in position, and I was immediately thrown halfway out of the airplane, so far out of it that the only thing that was holding me in was an oxygen hose that I'd forgotten to disconnect. And it was fastened to the airplane. If it hadn't been for that oxygen hose, I would have been thrown completely clear of the plane when I unloosened that thing, and this I didn't expect. And when I got out, then I got to thinking, well, I've got to get those destruct switches, but I couldn't get my hands back in the airplane. There's no way physically possible for me to crawl back into that thing because of these G-forces. And I was getting quite concerned because I didn't know how fast I was falling, how close to the ground I was, or how long that I had. And I have no idea how many seconds or minutes this whole process took.
And action!
The crash sequence we filmed inside Tempelhof Airport on a large blue screen. Our wonderful special effects department had built this gigantic hydraulic arm with the cockpit on top.
Head straight into the lens and stay there for a few seconds. And back. And once again, straight into the lens for a few seconds.
They were able to take me up in the air, downwards. They could rotate me. It was like being on a roller coaster. It was so much fun. We had the helmet, and once you put that thing on, you don't hear much unless somebody's yelling right next to you. And so I had an earwig so Steven could talk to me.
Good, more breathing. Fight it. Up his eyes, up his eyes. Keep the lights on him, Janusz. Good, buff it forward and back. And cut, very good. That's an isometric exercise I've ever seen one, wow.
And the same guys who now make the suits for our astronauts made the suit for me in this film. It was tight as all could be. Going to the bathroom was touchy, so I felt like Powers, having to gauge when I was, going to use the facilities.
And it breaks in half. Just as it gets to the parachute, this side goes this way, and this side goes that way. And it just breaks like part of the Red Sea and goes on both sides of the parachute. And that would be a really cool shot with debris coming out of this.
And Steven, it must be such a thrill for him to see that moment come to life. It's an extremely powerful moment in the film because this man bled red, white, and blue. When he was approached by the CIA, he was ready to head over to the Soviet Union. A running theme is that one man can have an effect on the many. And I think that this was the driving force behind Powers. He never questioned why he was doing this. It was always, what can I do to serve my country?
I gave him nothing.
It doesn't matter what people think. You know what you did.
In his mind, he had done everything he was supposed to do. He didn't spill his guts. He didn't cooperate with the enemy. He didn't divulge any information that they didn't already know. But no one realized this until he was brought back home and debriefed. By that time, the misinformation was circulating around, and it still circulates around today. People today may not find that in 1998, there was a declassification conference that helped to set the record straight. That in 2000, here at Beale Air Force Base, my father was posthumously awarded with the POW Medal, the Distinguished Cross, and a special medal from the then director of the CIA, George Tenet, the Director's Medal, for extreme fidelity and courage in the line of duty.
Why don't I, while we're here, before we go up high and put some up there, let me just get a shot down here low of the guards' faces as they close the door on Austin.
To know that Steven Spielberg has taken an interest in this era, the Cold War era, and in particular the U-2 incident, is phenomenal. This will help the next generation or two or three to remember the Cold War, what my father did, what Donovan did, and who Rudolph Abel was. And that they'll be able to learn about the current war on terror by studying the Cold War and the links that they have between each other.
We are engaged in a war.